let's talk about a relationship making headlines: China and South Africa. It's a story that's capturing the world's attention, and for good reason. These two countries, though separated by continents and cultures, are now deeply intertwined in ways that affect millions of lives. On one side, you have a global economic powerhouse with vast resources and influence. On the other, a nation with big dreams, untapped potential, and a pressing need for investment to fuel its growth. It sounds like a perfect match. China brings cash, technology, and expertise, while South Africa offers opportunity, resources, and a gateway to the rest of Africa. But every partnership has its fine print. Behind the scenes, deals are struck, contracts are signed, and expectations are set, sometimes with more questions than answers. China is now South Africa's biggest trading partner, with billions flowing in trade and investment. The numbers are staggering, and the impact is visible everywhere, from ports to stock exchanges. Politicians see new roads, jobs, and a future powered by Chinese money. They celebrate ribbon cuttings and promise prosperity. But not everyone's convinced that this is a win-win. For every cheer, there's a whisper. What's the catch? In townships and boardrooms alike, people are asking tough questions about the real cost of this partnership. Is this a partnership of equals, or is South Africa becoming just another outpost in China's global ambitions? The presence of Chinese businesses is growing, and so are concerns about sovereignty and control. The stakes are high. This is about the nation's future, the next generation, and the legacy that will be left behind. It's like getting a shiny new phone on a contract you barely understand. At first it's exciting, new technology, new opportunities, and a sense of progress. But what did we really sign up for? As the excitement fades, the reality of the terms and conditions starts to sink in. Is this a gift, or a loan with strings attached? Are we building a future, or mortgaging it away? South Africa is holding a shiny new future, but the fine print is starting to matter more than ever. Every clause, every promise, every handshake could shape the country's destiny. The real question: is this a match made in heaven, or a deal with the devil? Only time will tell if this partnership brings lasting prosperity, or if the cost is too high to bear. So, where's all this Chinese money going? It's not random, it's strategic. Every dollar, every deal is part of a bigger plan. China isn't just investing for the sake of it, they're carefully choosing where to put their billions, targeting sectors that will shape South Africa's future and in turn, strengthen their own global influence. Think of it as monopoly on a global scale, with China buying up the best properties. But instead of hotels and houses, it's factories, ports, and power plants, assets that can change the game for decades to come. First, infrastructure, roads, railways, ports, and power stations, vital upgrades for South Africa. These projects don't just improve transportation, they connect cities, boost trade, and lay the groundwork for future growth. Chinese companies are modernizing what's been neglected for years. They're bringing in expertise, technology, and capital. Next, mining. South Africa's resources are legendary, and China's appetite for minerals is endless. Gold, platinum, iron ore, these are the lifeblood of both economies. Chinese firms are investing in mines and cement plants, extracting value and fueling construction. These investments don't just fill ships bound for China, they also help build South Africa's cities and infrastructure. Manufacturing is also booming. Companies like Hisense and BAIC are building factories and car plants, creating jobs and local production. This means more than just assembly lines. It's skills transfer, new technology, and opportunities for South African workers. Then there's technology. Huawei and others are wiring South Africa for the digital age, building networks and bringing in new tech. From 5G towers to fiber optic cables, they're connecting millions and opening doors to the digital economy. It's not just about physical infrastructure anymore, it's about digital highways and future industries. Data centers, smart classrooms, and high-speed internet are changing how people live, learn, and work. Chinese investment touches every key sector, from mines to factories to the internet. The scale is massive, and the impact is everywhere you look. The strategy is full spectrum, reshaping the economy from the ground up. It's about transformation, not just transactions. For South Africa, it's a chance to leap forward. New jobs, better infrastructure, and access to global markets could mean a brighter future for millions. But with every investment, the ties grow deeper. The relationship becomes more complex, and the stakes get higher. The question is, who's really in control? As the partnership grows, so do the questions about sovereignty and influence. And what does South Africa give up in return? The answer isn't simple, but it's a conversation the country can't afford to ignore. Let's be clear, Chinese investment brings real benefits. For many South Africans, it means jobs. In a country with sky-high unemployment, that's life-changing. New factories and mines put food on the table for thousands of families. There's also the promise of skills transfer, learning new techniques, gaining experience, and building a more skilled workforce. Infrastructure upgrades are crucial. Power stations, roads, and railways make the economy run smoother and daily life easier. These aren't just numbers, they're real improvements for real people. Economic growth follows. More business, more tax revenue, and a rising standard of living. China's capital is jump-starting projects that had stalled for years. For a government under pressure to deliver, this is a shortcut to visible progress. The dream, a fast track to prosperity powered by partnership. But every shortcut has its risks. Now let's flip the coin. There are serious concerns that can't be ignored, and they're being voiced by citizens, experts, and activists alike. Debt is the biggest fear. Many of these infrastructure projects are funded by loans, not outright gifts, and the risk of debt-trap diplomacy is real. Critics worry that South Africa could end up owing more than it can pay back, putting the country in a vulnerable position. If South Africa can't pay, China could seize key national assets, like ports, railways, or even power plants. This isn't just speculation, it's happened in other countries, and it's a scenario that keeps many up at night. Labor issues are common. Complaints about low pay, poor working conditions, and a lack of real skills transferred to local workers are widespread. Many feel that promises of job creation haven't lived up to the hype. Sometimes the most skilled or highest-paying jobs go to imported workers, while locals are left with only low-skilled or temporary roles, fueling resentment and frustration. Environmental worries loom large. Many projects focus on coal and fossil fuels, raising fears of pollution, long-term climate damage, and the health impacts on nearby communities. Fast-tracked projects can mean weak oversight, neglected safety standards, and lasting harm to both people and the environment. Cheap Chinese imports have also hurt local industries, especially textiles and small manufacturers, making it harder for South African businesses to compete and survive. For every job created by these projects, others may be lost as local businesses close their doors, leading to rising unemployment and economic uncertainty. The risk is clear. South Africa could become dependent on China, losing control over its own economy and future decision-making. The fine print is starting to show, and many are asking, at what cost does this partnership come? This isn't just economics, it's political chess. The South African government sees China as a way to break from Western dependence and gain leverage. But critics warn of growing Chinese influence, with South Africa reluctant to challenge China on sensitive issues. There are fears that foreign policy is being shaped by investment, not principle. Internally, opposition parties demand transparency, worried about secret deals and mounting debt. China's state-led model is appealing to some, but it risks eroding South Africa's democratic values. The closer the partnership, the greater the risk of political and institutional change. The stakes go far beyond money. What do ordinary South Africans think? For some, Chinese investment is a lifeline. New jobs, new hope, a way out of poverty. For others, it's a threat. Lost businesses, cheap imports, and a sense of losing control. Most people sit somewhere in the middle, grateful for development, but wary of the costs. They see the benefits but also the labor disputes, environmental issues, and political coziness. The debate isn't just in parliament, it's in families, communities, and workplaces. One town celebrates a new factory, another protests a mine. The reality is complex, with hope and anxiety living side by side. The partnership with China is shaping millions of personal stories. For South Africans, it's not just a headline, it's their future. And the jury's still out. So, is China's investment a blessing or a curse? The truth, it's complicated. The benefits are real: jobs, infrastructure, growth, but so are the risks: debt, dependence, and loss of control. The outcome isn't set. It depends on the choices South Africa makes now. Rejecting China means missing out on huge opportunities, but ignoring the risks is dangerous. History has shown how quickly things can go wrong. Real partnership needs transparency, fair deals, and shared benefits. If South Africa negotiates smartly, enforces its laws and demands respect, it can shape its own future. The question isn't whether to engage with China, but how. Can South Africa take the money without the baggage? Can it build a stronger, more independent nation? Or will it become just another stop on China's global journey? That's the billion-dollar question. And the answer is still being written.